we're going to dive into Valthume. This is a Dragon Priest dungeon along the southwest edge of the map. It's kind of out of the way and pretty easy to miss. No NPCs mention it to you, and there's no quests for it, other than radiant ones, so unless you know it's here, you usually won't see it just wandering around, unless you're really hugging the edge of the map. There's a bunch of jasby grapes, and usually a couple animals outside, but not too much else on the exterior. Let's head up the stairs and go inside. Inside this first room, we'll be approached by an NPC named Valdar. He's a ghost who's been protecting this dungeon and keeping the Dragon Priest subdued. He's unfortunately losing power and asks that we help free the Dragon Priest so that we can kill it off. The quest will direct us through the dungeon and help us find 3 vessels. We're going to have to find those and bring them back to Valdar to summon the Dragon Priest.
They are guarded by Hevnoraak's minions. They will stop at nothing to see their master return.
After Valdar's done talking, the wall behind him will lower. Before heading through, you can check out his remains and a helmet. You're doing great, Valdar. This first little area doesn't really have anything other than his helmet that you can pick up, so let's dive right in. Inside the main dungeon, we'll immediately come across the Dragon Priest coffin, as well as a throne and a basin, which are used to summon him at the end of the dungeon. To the left of the throne is a Draugr body. Heading down the right side, we have progression. There will be a pressure plate here that's actually very useful. It triggers a log trap that almost always kills a living Draugr that's waiting to try to jump at you. Before heading through, we find an urn, and then a small room with another Draugr, who usually doesn't aggro even if the trap is activated. Checking out this room itself, we'll find the usual junk in these dungeons, such as linen wraps and pots, and some urns, bone meal, and sacks. We'll also find some troll fat and skeever tails. Checking the 3 possible passages, the left will peek ahead, and the far right will be a barred door, which is how the dungeon loots. Heading through the only possible path, we'll go into the room that the left path peeks into. We'll see a Dragon Priest ghost, which is actually marked as an enemy, but you can't damage him or fight him, he just kind of wanders off. In this large room itself, there will be 2 Draugr near the back that wake up to fight you. Checking out the room, we'll find that it's pretty large, but rather empty. There will be a couple urns, and a little left path that we can jump across. After doing some epic Halo bunny hops, we can see where the Dragon Priest was headed to, which will have a shield and a chest. Heading back into the main room, we'll also find another chest right beneath an altar that has a dead Draugr on it. You may have noticed the compass showing many enemies, and this pretty obvious trapdoor. Let's go check them out. The trapdoor will put you in a little room with some scattered loot on the ground, and you can actually take your time before proceeding to fight some spiders. There will be 4 spiders and a waking Draugr down in this little area. Checking out some loot, there's actually a skeleton just to the right of the door. There will be a gold diamond ring on the ground, and it's really hard to see, It's just underneath the hand, usually crouching will help you get it. Besides this, you can loot the spiders, and ultimately, we'll need to loot this Draugr's body, as the door is locked and he has the key. You can also pick the lock, but the key's right there if you don't want to go through the hassle. We find Bleeding Crown, and some stairs. Heading up the stairs, we'll find the usual shelves, full of junk, and some spider eggs in a bowl. There will be some urns and a plate that has some flawless gems on it, so be sure to check that out. This simply loops back up to the room with the trapdoor, and like most trapdoors, you can reclose it. Moving forward, there will be a little room to the right that has a decent amount of loot. There will be a knapsack, a woodcutter's axe, and a one-handed weapon, and the room will also have some leather strips and a lot more junk. There are a decent amount of pelts in here though. Under a table with some wheat and leather strips, another pelt. There's also a restoration skill book in here, and potatoes! Oh god, yes. Good room. Once you've gathered the loot here, you can move ahead. The next hallway is kind of odd. The first pressure plate will drop down some fire pots and light the oil on the ground, killing some skeevers and a Draugr. While the fire's burning, we can see the Dragon Priest again through a little window. The other two pressure plates in here are kind of weird. They activate dart traps above your head and they only fire one dart each, and they don't rearm. We can also peek into the room that had the Dragon Priest and see a locked cage. There will be a false wall with a handle that we have to go through to progress. A leveled Draugr will come to stop us from taking the quest vessel, but once we take care of him, we can grab the vessel and move on. But before leaving, there will be another skeleton like before that has another ring that it's reaching for. Again, it can be hard to see, but just crouch down to find it. Once you take the vessel, the gate ahead will lift. There's really not too much as you progress until a big room that has 3 Draugr in it. One will usually be high up, and the other 2 are usually down below. Going back to the beginning of the room, we'll find 2 tables, with some cheese, tundra cotton, and a handful of potions, scattered between both tables, and oh, more potatoes. God, yes. There will be a locked door on this top path that has some loot behind it. Let's check it out. The first thing you'll usually notice is a table with a bunch of potions on it. Be sure to stock up. On the ground nearby, there's usually another potion and a bunch of books. We'll also find urns. On another bookshelf, even more potions and even more books. This is a pretty useful room with a lot of good potions. There's also a chest in it. Once you've stocked up with any loot and potions you need, you can go ahead and go downstairs. There will be some skeleton bodies you can loot, but not too much else in this main room besides some urns. Before progressing deeper, let's head into this room and check it out. We'll find plenty of urns and linen wraps, as well as cheese. There's also a handle on the wall that's pretty hard to see, so be sure to go along the wall and find the handle to drop a fake wall. This path will actually lead back up to the room that we saw the Dragon Priest inside earlier. We can peek out and see what's going on. Inside, we'll find a chest, a decent amount of alchemy ingredients hanging around, a draugr, as well as some potions and an alchemy lab that we can put the potion ingredients to use for. Once again, just some neat extra loot. Once you've grabbed whatever you need or want, you can head back around and progress deeper into the dungeon. Heading inside the catacombs, we'll come to a pretty webbed out room. The chest right in front of us is trapped, and will activate a door on the roof, dropping a giant frostbite spider into the room. Besides the giant spider, there are two more smaller ones to its left and right. We have our chest and some urns, as well as a skeleton underneath the stairs, and a skeleton on an altar in the room. Besides this, there will be some spider eggs around the room, and the spiders themselves, but not too much else. Moving forward, we'll find two waking draugr, one who's usually up and going when he hears the other. This trap is again kind of weird, as it activates the swinging axes and they just stop, and it just doesn't often reset. Some of the pressure plates in this dungeon aren't too good. Moving forward, we can find another urn with another dead draugr we can loot. After moving by the draugr on the altar, the next little area will have three protecting it. Usually one's up, and the other two will be waking draugr. Checking out this area now that we have our bearings, there will be a split path. The right is blocked by a gate, but has the quest marker. The left is open, but it's guarded by some soul gem traps. Let's go back around to the gate. This has our second vessel, and a chain nearby that opens it. There will be a draugr inside, and some flame pots above if we need to use them. Once we grab the vessel, we can then grab these soul gems, which only fire into the other hallway, so you're safe to disarm them here. It's also pretty hard to reach through the windows and grab them from the hallway, so unless you're ready to run through the fire, go ahead and grab them. Safe. As usual with dungeons like these, there will be a decent amount of urns. This one has a lot of coffins. I just wanted to check out that body with the bow. This next room will have two walking draugr and two waking draugr. They don't always join the fight. Get up. If you do have trouble in this room, there is a wall trap that you can use to try to help kill the draugr. Moving forward, there will be a gate with a chain that opens it. This next room is rather large, and has a single walking draugr, and 2 more that pop out of coffins. The walking draugr will usually be near one that hops out of the coffin, and the other one is down below on the other side of the room. Checking out the room itself for loot, we'll find plenty more urns, some canis root, and a bunch of junk like linen wraps and burned books. Urns. Up near where the first draugr is, there will be a chest. Down on the bottom level, a couple more urns and just coffins that won't open up. Moving on, we'll find a double door. What's behind it? Ugh. Well, let's kill him. We'll find 3 frostbite spiders and an iron claw. Grabbing the claw activates a fire trap, so be careful. Checking the claw itself, we'll see that it's dragon, bird, wolf for the combination. Insert joke about Iron Claw movie that came out recently. Moving past this door, we'll find one last room with 4 draugr in it, and the last vessel. The vessel can get shouted off by the draugr, and can sometimes glitch out the room a little bit, but it's pretty easy to fix. We can loot any urns and bodies, and check out the vessel. If it does get knocked off, and the gate ahead of it does not lower, you can actually pick something up and place it on the pedestal, or jump on yourself to try to fidget around with it. I did it myself. Once you have the 3rd vessel, we'll find the word wall for Ara Whisper. There will also be the customary boss chest. Heading around to the right, there will be a gate that we can open to loop back around into the main dungeon. We can open up the barred door and work our way back to the room that has the Dragon Priest coffin. Valdar will be waiting for us, and talking to him will activate the option to summon the priest.
In life, Hevnoraak drained his own. The vessels
Valdar likes talking.
Very well.
Once you confirm with him that you're ready for the fight, he'll direct you to fill a sconce and sit in a throne nearby.
But the Lich is still to be reckoned with. Be ready.
Okay, Valdar. Once you fill the sconce and sit down, the summoning will begin for Hevnoraak. Be careful here, because unlike other dragon priests who you can usually run up on as they're spawning, Hevnoraak will come up at a bit of a distance because you're in the throne. He'll usually use lightning magic, and like I said, he can be pretty far away when you start, so just be careful. After you defeat him, you can go talk to Valdar.
Thank you, hero. Now, I may finally rest.
He recommends you take his mask, which was our goal anyways.
It may be of and serve as some reward for your feat here.
Okay, see ya, Valdar. See ya. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Valdar. Once Valdar lets you go over to the ash pile or body, and loot Hevnoraak's titular mask. With that, Valthume is completed.